The Top Fuel Racing League is on the air, live from Silverstone, England. It is the DNC British Grand Prix. Tonight's broadcast being brought to you in part by TDA Motorsports. Terry Adams providing tonight's bump music. TDA Motorsports proudly supports the Disabled American Veterans Association, DAVs, and all volunteer fleet of non-critical medical transport for America's veterans. On more information on how you can get involved, go to dav.org. Tony Trapasso opened the booth with you tonight, joined with me by my new partner in crime, who's one of my older partners in crime, Mr. John Napier, making a return to the booth with me tonight. John, how the heck have you been?
Doing good, Tony. Doing really good. Didn't get the track until the last minute. Didn't have much practice time, so I figured I'd come up here and join you.
Silverstone Raceway, not one of the easiest tracks to wheel a car around quickly, as some of these guys are learning at a very rapid pace.
It is, Tony. It's really a throwback to the, especially this particular circuit. It's probably one of the quintessential. I'll describe it as one of the sweeping circuits of yesteryear.
That's probably the best way to put it. Now, they have redesigned some of the corners in recent years, and you can see some of the old asphalt still laying around, as they've tried to improve it for modern Grand Prix racing. But definitely a lot of sweeping corners. You have to carry a ton of momentum around here, but you also have to be mindful that that momentum does lead into a corner relatively quickly that will bite you quicker than you can blink.
And that goes back to yesteryears, where the cars of yesteryear were so much more momentum based than the cars of today.
Very, very much so.
They didn't have the explosive acceleration that we have today.
Well, they didn't have the explosive acceleration that many of the modern cars have, but they also were lacking the other very important key to making a modern-day race car fast. And we can blame, we can first blame the Texan, why is the name escaping me now, the gentleman who owned the Chaparral team.
McLaren?
No, the guy that owned Chaparral. I know you know who I'm talking about.
I do, and I'm right with you, the name escaping me.
Anyways, moreover, as far as open wheel cars go, like we're running tonight, we can blame Colin Chapman for the revolution that has taken place in modern open wheel racing, with ground effects taking over and the cars being able to generate enough downforce to basically be able to drive upside down if needed.
Chapman and Newey on that one.
More so Chapman. Chapman went to Newey with the plan and said, "Hey, what if?" And Newey went, "Well, if we did this and move this here and put this here and put this here, yeah, hey, that works." And so
Chapman stumbled across it, and actually, him devising it was accidental.
Jim Hall.
Yes, Jim, yes. But him devising the ground effects we have today were accidental. He put a little bit of an uptake at the bottom of one of the Lotus cars and discovered that it pulled it to the ground harder.
Right.
At which point he got Newey very involved in it. Right.
But going back even 10 years prior to that, Jim Hall experimented with the infamous Chaparral 2J sucker car. And for those of you who've never seen it, Google it and watch the YouTube videos. Engineering,
awesome piece of machinery.
Engineering masterpiece. The execution wasn't 100% on it. If they had done it, there's a couple things that I probably would have done differently if I were Jim Hall, but Jim Hall has all the money, so
Well,
As the old saying goes, he who has the gold makes the rules.
there's actually a car here, unbeknownst to most, there's a car on iRacing that uses a ducted fan ground effect system.
What?
The Nissan GTP car used a ducted fan
No, it didn't.
ground effect system.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Elvis did not have a ducted fan system. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the Nissan Group C GTP car, whatever you would like to refer to it as, from the 1989 IMSA, sorry, wrong series, IMSA championship series. Yeah, that didn't have a ducted fan system in it. There were only two cars that actually used, quote, sucker fans to suck the car to the track, and one of them was Bernie Ecclestone, owning Brabham in the late 70s, early 80s, had the second one to be in existence. Jim Hall's Chaparral 2J was, of course, the first one. But after one race with, Nicky Lauda behind the wheel of it, they just, the officials went to him and said, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's not going to happen. What am I seeing? Okay. So, qualifying currently underway here at the Top Fuel Racing Series DNC British Grand Prix for DW12s. Let's pull this up so I can follow along and see who's doing what where, as Paul Crumry loops it coming through the S's there. My normal partner in crime, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, making his return. New paint scheme for the 101. Ironically enough, driving a Dalmatian paint scheme tonight. Now, mind you, Sam representing PH Aware, the Mighty, and Paskey Sports and more. Now, for those of you who don't know what PH Aware is, it's pulmonary hypertension awareness. It's a constricting of the blood vessels in the lungs.
I am back, sir. I am sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem, John. I was just going over what was on Sam's car tonight. Pulmonary hypertension is a constricting of the lungs, or the blood vessels in the lungs, and the symptoms that it gives off, it's one of the most commonly misdiagnosed terminal illnesses in the world, because it masks itself like, well, it could be this, or it could be this, or it could be this, and by the time the doctors realize, okay, it's none of those, the only way to really tell that it's pulmonary hypertension is a biopsy, and usually by that point you're in end stage and you're scrambling to get on the transplant waiting list, because that's the only known real treatment that is effective. So for more information on how you can help fight pulmonary hypertension awareness, go to phaware.org. So Nate Siefker in the pits right now, currently sitting atop the leaderboard by 1.2 seconds. Let me say that again. 1.2 seconds to the good. The only one running a sub 130 lap here so far. As Tyler Vickery, the young gunner, my other normal partner in crime, driving the Jegs entry tonight. I'm sorry, Wes Fry going quick too in the Jegs entry, going sub 130. And cutting Siefker's lead down to 0.7 of a second, going second quick. Tyler Vickery in the Sitco paint scheme, currently sitting third quick. Chris Walker sitting fourth quick. Scotty Brinson driving the Gallus throwback paint scheme there with the Kraco sponsorship. Currently sitting 5th quick. So a lot of times all over the board here tonight, John.
Yeah, I'm watching Nate's lap right now compared to some others, and he is just so much smoother than everybody else.
Which is kind of strange to see, because if you take a look at the licensing and the I ratings, Seifert are currently rolling a C license on the roadside, and his I rating is under 1,000.
But he's talked about that before. He concentrates more on league stuff than he does on official stuff.
Fair enough, but it's kind of. I mean, yeah, I get that. Yes, he does concentrate more on league stuff, but you would also expect to see, a tighter battle between he and Wes Fry.
Oh, by all means, I understand what you're saying there.
Tyler Vickery. Now, mind you, I've driven road races with Tyler, so it's not really that big of a surprise to see Tyler sitting that far forward. One of the names who's kind of surprising, who's sitting mired back outside the top 5, Ronnie Osmer. Now I've driven a handful of road races with Ronnie, and to see him sitting 7th.
It really does surprise me, because Ronnie is such an all-around driver.
Very much so.
I ran one endurance race with Ronnie on my team, and he was our star player.
Was that the night you guys turned a Audi R8 into a pavement modified?
I'm gonna plead the 5th on that
one. Now, for those of you who don't understand what we're talking about, we were John, Ronnie, Tyler.
It was me, Ronnie, Cody Eldridge, and Gregory, I believe.
Right, and Tyler was running with us. Sam was running on my crew. You guys were in the R8. We were in the Merc. It was Sam, myself, Kevin Pasquich, and Mark Vega. And I think between the two cars, we hit everything except the flag stand that night.
No, I'm pretty sure I found a way to bounce off the infield wall and get that also.
No. I remember that race distinctly. You did not hit the flag stand. The crest at the top of Eau Rouge, much like the bane of my existence, was the bane of your existence for that race. And tone's going off. That's never a good sign, John.
That's my son trying to cook.
Tell Greg he's not allowed in the kitchen anymore. So, yeah.
And he wants to be a chef.
You might want to inform him that using the smoke detector is not an efficient kitchen timer.
And I'm not one to plug when I do these things, but I've got to announce my proud parent moment. Gregory has made the decision to join the United States Army.
All right. Got to respect that decision. Definitely have to respect that decision. And those of you not from the States who are wondering why that would be a proud parent moment, the United States has an all-volunteer military. So for a young man or young woman, trying to seek a career path, that they're volunteering. And John, I do apologize if this comes across the way that it's sounding in my head, but the young men and women who volunteer for the United States military are basically telling the rest of us, here's a check for your freedom that I'm willing to write up to and including giving my life for. And I cannot thank anyone who has ever served in the United States military enough, for doing that.
as you know, I would have, much rather seen him go Navy, but
There are so many jokes I could make right now, John, that I'm not going to, only because we're live and this is a PG-13 stream. But no, I definitely I have to respect Greg's decision, and I just you can tell him that he's definitely earned my respect with making that decision. So would like to remind everybody that we are in qualifying right now. You are watching a presentation of the Top Fuel Racing League DW12 series live from Silverstone. This is the DNC British Grand Prix. If you like the action that you're seeing here tonight, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you're looking to get in on the action in a future Top Fuel Racing DW12 League race, wait till after the live stream is over. Go ahead and drop a comment in the replay comment section with your iRacing screen name, and we'll get that passed along to the league admins.
And the race is being broadcasted live at both SodaFix and Prestige Vape tonight.
Hi, folks. How you doing? And I would like to just put this invitation out to the folks at SodaFix. If you're ever looking to expand, might I suggest the Greater Syracuse, New York Metroplex? Because we need something like that here.
Oh, it is an awesome place. I will openly say that my addiction led to the sponsorship.
Not a problem. So about 2 minutes left in the qualifying session. Seifert still 7/10 to the good over West Fry. Tyler Vickery still sitting in third. Scotty Brinson up to fourth. Good run for Scotty going on there. And one of the names who we haven't mentioned yet tonight, apparently having his graphics card fixed, Tony Rice making a return to Top Fuel Racing. And the other thing I would like to mention real quick, Matt Burkhart with us tonight, currently sitting 11th quick. Do ask thoughts and prayers go out to Matt's stepdad. They had to something medical was going on earlier today. Haven't had a chance to talk to Matt about that, but thoughts and prayers going out to the entire Burkhart family for a speedy recovery of Matt's stepdad, who I did not get the name of earlier. So, well, John, I dare say it's going to be a very interesting race here tonight, because I do notice that with the setup they got going on, a lot of guys having a little bit of difficulty keeping it between the green.
Have you driven the setup, Tony?
No. The last time my wheel was actually plugged into my computer and sitting on my desk was when I teamed up with Tyler Vickery and Robert Hill Jr. for the Rolex 24 at Daytona.
The setup does tend to be a tad bit. The rear end wants to outdrive the car coming off some of the slower corners.
Well, a lot of that might have to do with the weather, which we've got up on the screen right now. Current ambient air temperature 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temperature at the start of qualifying was 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind out of the southwest at 2 miles an hour. So pretty warm for Great Britain, especially this time of year. And I know for a fact Sam just got back to his home in Ireland from Great Britain, and he was traveling in a snowstorm. So as Tyler Vickery binning it coming into the pits. But yeah, gorgeous circuit here. Cannot fault one bit the iRacing team for the scan that they did here. Silverstone, just a gorgeous circuit. and being told that it was going to be Bud. Matt Hamill's stepdad is Bud. So thoughts and prayers going out to Bud tonight for a speedy recovery. Okay.
I'm just going to stop typing at this point.
Yeah, don't do that. Just, just talk. Anyways, so yeah, I got that name wrong, but yeah, Matt Hummel's stepdad. Thoughts and prayers going out.
You had said Matt
Burkhart. Yes, I did. I screwed that one up. So Matt Hummel, normally with us tonight,
which is a mistake I make very often. Even he's on our team when we run for Top Fuel, and I make the mistake with him. So
Matt Hummel. Thoughts and prayers going out to the entire Hummel family. Matt, of course, not with us tonight due to having that going on. So thoughts and prayers going out there. Qualifying, that's going to do it. So we are out there. Let's run down the starting order here. Gridding them up. Starting up on the pole, looks like we're going to be doing a rolling start tonight. Starting up on the pole, quick time of 1:28.279. That's going to be Nate Siefker. Starting next to him is going to be Wes Fry. Row number 2 is going to go to Tyler Vickery and Scotty Brinson. Row 3 is going to see Chris Walker and Ronnie Osmer, with row 7 going to Brad Truax and Mark Walker. Sam Cooper Bennett and Paul Crumry make up row number 5. Matt Burkhart and George Hendricks go off in row number 6. And I believe, Ty Stanley is still here last I knew, so he and Tony Rice going to be starting shotgun on the field in row number 7. So 14 cars slated to go off tonight, John. And of course, you're up here in the booth with me, so
I don't count.
Well, you count because you're up here in the booth with me. So show up points, anyways. But cars gridding up here tonight. 44 laps. The scheduled distance is a lot of gorgeous looking paint schemes that I'm seeing here tonight. And just completely jam-packed grandstands is some of the... Is this new that the fans move side to side?
Yes, it's with the last update.
Okay, because I was going to say, I've never seen fans kind of swaying side to side in the stands before. That's kind of weird.
And if you notice, they're more 3D now and less flat.
I see that. So kudos on iRacing for giving us that update. Now let's see if they can fix the breakdancing problem that is inherent with all open wheel cars. If you hit them hard enough, they, it's like being at a rave.
Boy, this is going to be one long pace lap, Mr. Trapasso.
You're not wrong, Dr. Napier. You're definitely not wrong. Which is surprising that they're actually making them pace the entire way. And am I seeing this right? Is the 2 dropping to the tail? Siefker is dropping to the tail of the field.
That is weird.
Yeah, he's holding pace right now, back there with Tony Rice. Well then.
I have no in-game sounds, just so you know.
Fair enough. Uh, Wes Fry right now going to have control of the field. He's joined up on the front row with Tyler Vickery. So, yeah, this is interesting strategy being played by Seifker right now. Realizes that he's got that much of a gap on the rest of the field. Looks like he's going to try to make things just a tick more difficult for himself. The only thing he's got to watch out for is the inevitable ARCA moment going into turn 1.
Well, you know, turn 1 here is so long and sweeping. I really don't see an issue on this track with that.
You know what would have been an interesting track to run this race on? Brands Hatch.
I love Brands Hatch.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan. I became a fan of Brands Hatch when they first ran Indy cars there. That awesome off-camber turn 1 is such a challenging corner. I love it.
And then you go up the hill a little bit into Beckett's. You get lost behind the trees, and as you come out, you've got the back. You go to the back-to-back 90-degree rights through Beckett's, then into the downhill off-camber left-hander, and if you can survive that, you can survive the rest of the track. But it's that first 4 corners of Brands are a nightmare.
And I love the Brands Hatch Indy course.
Well, congratulations, John. Officially, you're currently leading this thing, according to the ticker.
That's awesome. And I just crashed, so give me a second to get back in.
Well, Pace Car just mowed the lawn. We are green, we are live, and Wes Fry currently showing the way. So
I never left the pitch. I think it's awesome that I can win the race and never, at least lead the race and,
Well, you were leading right up until the point the pace car pulled in. Got Wes Fry.
But, yeah, but do I get my lead points for that?
You'd have to take that up with league management. As Vickery trying to get a pull right now off of Fry, they're starting to get Scotty Brinson. So Fry, Vickery, Brinson, Walker, Osmer, Bennett, Burkhart, Stanley, Crumry, and Walker. That's your top 10. 14 cars making the start tonight. Relatively small field, but Walker and Brinson going side by side. Walker thinking better of it, though. That's your battle for third really starting to heat up. And then you've got a pretty decent gap back to Sam Cooper Bennett's taking it easy this early in the race. Burkhart diving to the inside as they go through the carousel.
Those dives are what worries me in this run.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when they're making them and where they're making them. If somebody times one wrong and it didn't take that long, here comes Seifker. Made that one look easy as he's working on Burkhart right now. It's a drag race. Now, unfortunately, these guys don't have their push to pass available in the race. It was available in qualifying, although I don't think many people realized that.
I was told by Scott that it was going to be available during race. They would have 10 of them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could actually set that up. I always thought that it was not available. Unfortunately, the numbers on the side no longer tell you how many PTTs you've got. Wes Fry currently leading this thing over a second 1.2 seconds to the good over Tyler Vickery. Scotty Brinson's 2 seconds, now 3 seconds off of Tyler. And he's battling with Chris Walker and Ronnie Osmer. So we're watching Siefker just reel these guys in. Let's check in on that battle for third right now.
I'm really curious to see, especially the battle for the third, fourth, and fifth that's going on right now, and how that's going to play out as in the carousel and the final hairpin as the tires and the tires start to go away and the weight of the car starts to come down.
Right. I mean, you figure we're only working lap 3 right now, so the tires still have a lot of goodie left in them, or at least they should. No, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but these guys normally run 75% fuel fill?
Yes.
Okay, so with an 18-gallon tank, call it 15 gallons, roughly 16.
So you're looking at
13 and a half. But the field really starting to get strung out now. As
I was just getting ready to say something about that.
Yeah, the closest battle on the track is what we're watching right now, is the battle for third, fourth, fifth, as Siefker is starting. You see Siefker starting to make his way into this battle. So, yeah,
You know, we've got a lot of laps here. The guys who are going to do well are the guys that just kind of kick back and let things play out and actually run their race later in the race.
right. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen, you know, when we get later into this fuel stint. So I believe we're probably looking probably a 3-stop race, at least a 2-stop race.
I did run a fuel run when I was practicing, when I was still going to run the race, and it's going to be a 3-stop race.
Okay.
Especially having no cautions.
And these guys are starting to get a little chippy. Osmer and Walker almost getting into each other. And I'm thinking Osmer realizes what's going on behind him. So he's starting to push a little bit.
And you have two very polar opposite driving styles there. Neither one a bad thing, but you have Ronnie Osmer, who's the guy that climbs into the car and becomes one with the car and wins his race that way. And then you have Chris Walker's the guy that climbs in the car and dominates the car and wins his race that way.
So you're saying that Chris is a little more heavy-footed than Ronnie as
Very
a tendency?
much so. Yes. A lot more aggressive. You know, Chris is more the Michael Andretti type driver, where Ronnie's the more Kimi Räikkönen, calm, cool, collected driver.
Fair enough.
You know, and like I said, both are a winning combination, just two very polar opposite driving styles.
Fair enough. As Siefker, we saw Siefker get by Osmer. Ooh, big wiggle. And it looks like some wing damage on the 44 now. Looks like Ronnie may have collected the wall on that one. That's gonna hurt. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no fast repair here.
I'm not seeing any damage on Osmer's car.
Look at the left front wing.
Yep. I'm seeing it
Yeah,
now. Yep.
should be sitting about middle of the left front tire. Instead, it's about even with the inside of that tire. So he's narrowed that front wing up by about 1.5 feet. And no fast repairs. Am I right, John?
I don't know on this one. I don't believe so. No.
Fair enough. So
And I just jumped into my car real quick, and the answer to that is no. No fast repairs.
no fast repairs. All right. Well then, that's going to make things interesting.
However, they are doing that nose cone change now, so it's not gonna. I think it adds like 8 seconds to the pit stop. And Nate just went off.
I did see that. Scary moment there. Able to get it collected back up, though.
You know, and that's one of the narrower runoffs. That's not a good area to go off. He lucked out there.
That was probably a first you say it, then you do it kind of moment. As
But I also want to bring up that, you know, at the beginning of the race, we were talking about, you know, Nate dropping to the back of the pack, and he's now running right behind Mr. Walker.
he is. He's in fifth, kind of biding his time. In the meantime, they're 10 seconds, almost 10.5 seconds back off of Wes Fry. And Walker just lets him go. Kind of realized that he was holding Seevker up and went, yeah, just go.
Did you hear? No, did you hear the statement Mr. Walker just made there?
I do not have in-game chatter on.
He just says, "Well, I outbroke myself in that quarter."
Okay. That's what happens when you. We're going to start calling Chris Hollywood Walker, because that's generally what happens when you start looking in your mirrors more than you're looking out the front of the car, and I think that's probably what he was doing with Seevker behind him.
And you know, and Seevker's always been good at that intimidation driving like that.
Fair enough.
You know, he's that guy where I'm gonna drive up your tailpipe till you make a mistake.
All right. So Fry, Vickery, Brinson, Seevker, Walker, Osmer, Bennett, Crumry, Mark Walker, and then Matt Burkhart rounding out your top 10 as we are working lap 8 of 44. And this field is just strung out, flat out strung out.
You know, the whole home track thing, I really want to see Sam do well tonight.
Speaking of Sam, there he is running for PH Aware and the Mighty in 7th. So having a decent drive tonight, running top 10. Good to see that he made it back home in one piece, safe and sound, with that, what we would call in the States a nor'easter. I'm not sure what it's called when it's hitting the western coast of England. Flirting with disaster going across the grass, but able to keep it collected back up and pointed in a straight line. So, meanwhile, up in front, Wes Fry just stinking up the show right now. 5.5 seconds to the good. in that Jegs car over second place, Tyler Vickery. Now, when we were at Mid-Ohio, I believe it was. Where were we 4 weeks ago? John? Did we lose John?
For a second, yes.
Okay, where were we 4 weeks ago? What was the last road course we were at?
Oh, I don't remember, Tony. I really don't.
Either way, I know Fry was one of the front runners in that one. And Siefker has gotten by Brinson and has started to set sail.
Brinson let him by.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the last race I remember was Pocono. I mean, the latest race I remember is Pocono.
No. It was the one. I believe it was the first race that we broadcast with this league. Bear with me here. Come on. Make me go back and look. See how you are.
With that said, I want to express how pleased I am to have you guys on board.
Well, we're happy to be here. We're glad Scott, is letting us. Excuse me. Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta was the track I was thinking of, where it was Fry, Brinson, and it was a hell of a run for everybody involved. So.
Yes, unfortunately, that was the night I had to cut out during qualifying because my father went to the hospital. So.
Right. I do remember that. So.
And, you mentioned that being 4 weeks ago. He actually just got out 3 days ago.
It's good to have your dad home then.
Yes.
So, meanwhile, we're watching Siefker put on a clinic right now as he's almost 2 seconds to the good over Scott Brinson. You see Brinson back there in the Craco car. So, definitely interesting running going on here. Scotty will be back in the booth with me tomorrow night, along with my brother from another mother from across the pond, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, making his return to the broadcast booth as we bring... big lockup for Siefker there, going through the S's. But we will be bringing you the Somo Cup Series tomorrow night from Martinsville. So, something to keep an eye on there. And I just want to point this out to everybody here. Siefker up into second as Vickery takes it pit side. Almost 12 seconds to the good for Wes Fry. Let that sink in for a moment.
Yes, but I have a feeling Nate has something to say about that.
I think Nate's probably going to have something to say about it. But right now, we're following Nate, and you can't see Wes in the shot. And I'm not running that tight of a camera. So, he is starting to chip away at that lead, but good grief. I mean, 11 and a half seconds. Really?
There's still a lot of racing left, though, Tony.
Oh, yeah, no, there is, but it just... When you think about the class of the field...
into the race.
Right. We are only working lap 12, but when you think about... Siefker started at the back of the pack, and he's up into second already. Fry is 11 seconds to the good, actually 13 seconds to the good over Scotty Brinson, who's sitting in third. So between Fry and Brinson, not counting Seifker, it's now a 14-second difference. Tell me that these two guys are not road course ringers.
Well, the fastest lap that I ran on this track practicing, I was almost 18 seconds off Nate. And I'm not a road course slouch. I can hold my own on road courses.
Right.
But I'm apparently no Nate Seifker.
Well, I would like to point out Wes Fry currently has the fastest lap of the race with a 1:29.222. Seifker's current best lap.
Hauling ass, Tony.
You think? Seifker's current best lap, 1:29.274. 50 thousandths to the good for Wes Fry. As far as, mine bigger than yours.
13 laps in, and Wes is starting to pick up lap traffic.
So Wes is starting to pick up lap traffic that looks like it could possibly be George Hendricks. Nope, Hendricks is already lapped down. That's Tony Rice in the Valvoline car. So this could eat into that lead quite substantially. And it is good to see that Tony finally got his connection issues, seemingly anyways, as I knock on the wooden desk that I'm using, seemingly fixed, because he was having some problems there.
Yeah, and Ty Stanley just disconnected, so it looks like he has it. And Ty's a great guy, and I'd really like to see him be able to race more competitively with a better connection. I think with a better connection, he'd do so much better.
And one of the things that I know, for those of you who have had connection issues in the past, one of the things that I know Tony did to help fix his connection was change the peripherals that he was using. He was running sim racing apps through a web browser that's known to be a
bandwidth hog.
Thank you. And he's kind of got that solved. As Fry bringing it pit side, so this is going to be his first stop. Jumps on the binders as he comes to the cones. This is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here. Seifker flashes by, your new leader. Brinson going by. So Fry in his stall. Walker hitting his coming in for his stop as well.
And Tony, we are almost 28 minutes into this race, and nobody has caused you to use the term Mr. Toad's Wild Ride yet.
So when that does actually happen, I would like to officially offer that driver to get your hate mail coming. That's Mr. John Napier, P.O. Box OU812, Austin, Texas, zip code 8675309. So, Fry with a little bit longer stop than we saw so far with the rest of the guys. Vickery only stopping for 7.9. Chris Walker, the other one who has gone pit side already, in for 8.9. Brad Truex in for 8.9. So Fry spending a little bit longer in his pit box than the competition so far. I wonder if that could come back to bite him later. And Seifker finally on pit road.
Hey, I'm looking now. Fry did not go onto pit road with any damage, so.
Well, at last check, the gap was 20. So it's safe to say that Fry's probably going to get the lead back. And there he goes flashing by. So he's got the lead back. Siefker in his box. 10.4 for Siefker. Wow. Brinson with a 9.2. This is where the shakeups happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, whoa! Somebody just took a big excursion there.
I don't see who that was.
It was Tyler.
Was it Tyler? Well, let's go back and see what the young gunner experienced. Yeah, Tyler, that's not part of the track, bud. Using all of the runoff and then some.
Yes. I'd say you go faster on the black part, but he just found an alternate black part.
And coming through the carousel lets Brinson go flashing by. It looks like he may have gotten a slowdown for that one. So now the game of cat and mouse picks back up. Wes Fry.
And Tyler loses it again.
I think the young gunner might be working it a little bit hard right now.
Yeah, he's pushing a little bit hard. You're absolutely correct.
But the game of cat and mouse picks back up. Wes Fry gained 2 seconds on pit road over Siefker. With a 32-1 from cone to cone as opposed to Siefker's 34-1 cone to cone. So Siefker, as a result, now has 13 seconds to make up. And Wes Fry already has the heat in his tires, so Siefker has to not lose any time to Fry on cold tires and then try to reel him back in. Oh, the joys of road racing.
This is why I love road course.
And the fun part is, let's see if we can find it here. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what we have? That's right. Our crack tech team, or is there crack tech team on crack? I forget which. We have a helmet cam on Wes Fry.
Oh, cool.
So let's follow along with a lap. And you look, he's not really pushing it that hard. He's just nice and smooth and just hitting his marks.
And that's it. He's just consistent.
And from the looks of it, it's consistently fast, too.
That too, yes.
That would be why his road I rating is 3580 or 3548. He's a class driver.
Yes.
Into the stadium section.
Jesus Christ, he's a smooth driver.
I know, right? Now let's compare a lap as we go on board with Nate Siefker, who's coming through the carousel now. That's what 12 seconds looks like, folks.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned what 12 seconds looks like. Have you ever seen the comparison they did at Silverstone where they ran a stock Ford Cougar, Colin McRae's Ford Focus rally car, and Johnny Herbert's Formula One car around Silverstone?
I didn't see that, but I did see something similar with back when Senna was still alive. They took a Honda, I believe it was a Fit, the NSX, and Senna's F1 car around, I believe
that was Suzuka.
Suzuka, yeah. I did see that.
Jeremy Clarkson was driving the Cougar.
Well, that had to end poorly.
No, it ended very well, actually.
Okay, yeah. Jeremy Clarkson driving anything in a competition generally ends poorly.
But he was pretty much in the carousel in the Cougar when Johnny Herbert left the line, and Johnny Herbert beat him.
Really? What, did the Cougar run out of gas?
No, that just shows how fast the damn Formula One car is compared to the Cougar.
Oh, okay, because what you're calling the carousel is probably not what I'm calling the carousel.
Just past the bridge on the back straight. The next turn after the bridge on the back straight.
Okay, then yeah, that's not where I was thinking. I was referring to the last corner as the carousel. So. Okay, so right now Seifker is coming up on the carousel.
Yeah, that just past that bridge that Seifker just went under.
So that's the carousel.
Yeah, that's where he was when Herbert left the line. I am stone serious. I will send you the video when we're done.
No, that's okay. That's quite all right. Anyways, so Fry and Seifker, not really, no quarter given, no quarter asked for, as Fry still with a 12-second lead. Kind of makes you wonder what would have happened had Seifker not dropped
back.
Yeah.
You know, it's ironic because you're saying things just as I'm thinking them.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Not to mention kind of funny at times. So, I'm looking back through the field. There's 12 seconds between Fry and Seifker. There's 12 seconds between Seifker and Vickery. And then there's 2.5 seconds between Vickery and Brinson. Then you're 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 14 seconds, 21 seconds, 8.5, 9, 43, another 14, and then 1.7 between Rice and Hendricks. That's your battle for 12th. The last two cars still running.
Now, what's really ironic is the time that you see between the leader and my car right now is probably realistic had I decided to drive.
You would not be 7 laps down right now, sir. No, I'm sorry, 20 laps down.
Don't kid yourself.
We're 21 laps into the race. It's next to impossible to be 20 laps down, 21 laps into a race, unless you bin it in turn 1. Oh, wait. Oh, Rouge. Right. Anyways.
That was not me. That was Morganti.
No, that was you in the car that went wheels first into the catch fence.
No, that was Morganti.
No, that was you. The second time it happened. After Morganti ripped all the bodywork off the car, you put it in there wheels first. I remember that one.
That's a possibility.
So.
But the reason we chose the R8 was because, for that race, was because the motor was not in the front of the car. So when we drove it into the wall, we could continue driving.
Well, the reason why we chose the Mercedes was because it was more stable, so we didn't have to worry about if we drove it into a wall.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we have gone to the Mercedes since that race.
You're welcome. Anyways, back to this deal here. There's not really a battle on the track, folks. The closest battle right now is between Chris Walker and Ronnie Osmer for 5th. And that's because Walker just caught, or Osmer just caught Walker. So, yeah.
Races like this get hard to commentate after a while.
Yeah, they do. And it's even worse when you're the only one in the booth. Thanks, Tyler. So I do thank you tonight for joining me up here, John.
It's not a problem, Tony. Always happy to help out. You know that.
So, real quick, did you happen to catch Sunday's dirt race broadcast?
I did not.
You may want to go back and take a look at one of the names that popped into that session.
Uh-oh.
Bailey Galeas.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a name from the past.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while he pops in and tries to, whoa. Nate's off.
Holy cow, he is. Let's take a look at what happened there. Back that up about 20 seconds. Looks like he's coming up on lap traffic. Coming through the switchback here. And just... ooh, flirting with disaster. Able to just barely keep it off the wall.
I can't tell if he hit the wall or not.
No wing damage. He did not hit anything. No wing damage. Wow. It doesn't get much closer than that, though. I think another coat of paint on either the car or the wall, and he would have been in trouble.
No kidding.
So in the meantime, Wes Fry is now 22 seconds to the good. Yeah.
I ended up in a race with a dirt race with Maverick a couple weeks ago.
Fair enough. Good to see he's back.
Well, there's no love lost between me, him, and Rob Russell. So,
well, yeah. Let's not get into that though. But anywho, for those
but
of you
on a brighter side, he always said that if they brought dirt in, he'd come back in a heartbeat.
Right. It only took him almost a year to do it.
Oh, just a year for one of us to run into him.
No, it took him almost a year to do it. He's been busy driving tow truck. So anyways, for those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, Sam, John, myself, and the two names that we just mentioned used to... I actually met the guys running with another league that has now since gone by the wayside. And, it's good to see that... some of the old names are still around. Sam, John, and myself still running together on a semi-regular basis. The other two names...
a lot of us, even better note, above and beyond the league, like me and Sam and you, and a lot of us came up running street stocks together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was probably... It was probably the most fun I ever had driving a street stock, because most of the time... This was back before dirt, folks, so... It was the pavement street stock days, and I have to admit that there were only two leagues I ever enjoyed driving a street stock in, and the one that we're making reference to was probably, to me anyways, more fun because I was more competitive. I wasn't racing against guys that could earned their black stripe. Guys and gals who could earn their black stripe if they wanted to. You know, it was.
Looking back, it was probably the most fun that I ever had in the sim altogether.
And the messed up part was the recruitment races were DW12s at Talladega. Two polar opposite cars on two polar opposite styles of track.
And Daytona.
Well, it was Daytona and Talladega in the DW12 as a recruitment race for a street stock league. On what planet does this make sense? And yet, you know, here we are.
That just shows how clueless me and Robbie were.
Well, that just also goes to show you, you know, how being that polar of an opposite type of deal, you know, John, Sam, Greg, you know, we're all still friends because of that experience. So
we are. Yeah.
The point of Tony Rice, hang on to it, kid.
You know, I kind of have to be friends with Greg, unfortunately.
Well, yeah. Well, no, you don't have to. You have to be a parent to Greg. There's a difference. But the point I'm trying to make is, you know, there's so many things that happen in life, and you meet so many people in your iRacing career that when you find those people who you have, you know, they're the same type of whack job that you are. Yeah, DW12s at Talladega sounds like an awesome idea. Well, we're doing this to recruit for a street stock league. That's an even better idea. Let's do it. You know, when you find people that are that whacked out of their mind that think that that's a good idea, like I think it's a good idea, Sam thinks it's a good idea, you think it's a good idea, you know, those are the people that you kind of get together with, and you know, you form those bonds, and that's the beauty of iRacing.
Oh, by all means.
That's where I was.
Great bonds that we have formed over the years. You know, there's even people I'm still friends with today that really don't even run anymore, like David Cordy.
Yeah, yep. You know, but that's. I do thank everybody for letting me have that train of thought moment as we're trying to find any battle that's anywhere near each other on the track right now. But
yeah, so at this point we're just rambling.
Absolutely. So
I do have to stand up for just a moment, Mr. Trapasso. I will be right back.
Take your time. So Wes Fry just having the drive of his career right now. Excuse me. As he gets ready to put, I believe that's George Hendricks, a lap down, another lap down that is. So looks like Fry was thinking about going pit side there, and then at the last second, we're going to go another lap. As they're 13 laps into the stint, we are just past the halfway point. You are watching a presentation of it. Hendricks shutting the door. What on earth is going on in the 43? Finally realizes who's behind him and just lets Fry go, but wow. Talk about holding up the leader. That was 4 seconds of hold up that, Fry's not going to get back. As Ronnie Osmer in for his second stop. And looks like he may have... No, he has not gotten that front end. It doesn't look like he's got the front end fixed. Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, that wing's not anywhere near as tweaked as it used to be. So, Chris Walker in for his second stop. As I apparently am not live. There we go. Now we're live.
I am sorry about that, sir.
Hey, no problem. We're just talking about the 43 just completely impeding West Fry for about 16 seconds, or about 10, well, 5 seconds anyways, worth of lead being cut into now by Seifker because of it.
Wow.
And Fry's in the pits.
Another shameless plug here. If anybody's interested, I have 2 teenage boys for sale.
One of whom has volunteered to join the Army, so we're only going to have him till his 18th birthday.
No, he's 18 already. He's going
even better
next January.
Ship him.
What was that?
I said ship it.
Yep.
And
he's going next January.
To quote my new favorite YouTuber who has nothing to do with iRacing, just gonna send it.
Who is that?
Look it up.
I will do it after the race.
If you're not a fan of people doing stupid things with snowmobiles and having beer involved, yeah, don't watch the video.
My 2 favorite YouTubers at this point are tend to be the Smarter Every Day and the Slow Mo guys.
Okay, the person I'm talking about, how should I put this? 24 years old, mullet, looks like he's in his mid-40s, rides a vintage 1979 Yamaha twin snowmobile, occasionally a Yamaha triple.
Wearing, I don't even know enough about snowmobiles to know what that means.
Okay, it's
Nate
the snowmobile is as old as you and I are.
I do know what 1971 is. Twin and triple that I don't understand.
It's a twin lung or a triple lung engine. Okay. Wearing jeans, a jean jacket, and an open face helmet with no chin bar. Let that sink in for a moment.
Yeah. Okay.
As Seifker in for his pit stop, Fry taking back over the lead. A little bit better that time, only losing 4/10. 4/10 in the pits, but gaining 3/10 cone to cone. Waiting for the first timing loop to come up. And we're going to see if Seifker has 14 seconds back off of Scotty Brinson. And there's Brinson, who you see Fry right in front of him.
How many laps is the race, Mr. Trapasser?
44. So we are closing in on 10 to go.
Yep.
So it's going to be a big ask for Seifker to be able to catch Fry at this point.
Yep.
That should have been the money stop.
I was wondering, I still don't understand why he dropped back like that. I would be interested in finding out.
I don't know. It's something we're going to have to talk to league owner Scott Brinson about post-race here, see if he can tell us what's going on there. So 15 seconds to the good right now, West Fry over Seifker. Brinson in the pits, so he's going to lose second. There goes Seifker by right there. Let's see what type of stop Brinson has, looks like he may, yeah, no, he's going to keep third.
Somebody off.
So what?
Got somebody off. I mean, big off, too.
I'm not seeing it.
I do believe it was Vickers again.
Vickery having another off as he comes
No,
out
it was not Vickery.
right on Brinson's tail. So the battle for the last podium spot is on. Both these guys have made their money stop. It might have been Sam, as Sam is now in the pits. And your mic's locked open, sir.
Sorry about that. I was looking to see who it was.
So Bennett in. And here's the thing. Vickery has warm tires.
It was Truex.
It was Truex. Okay. So Brinson, trying to get his tires up to temperature, has Tyler Vickery all over his transmission tunnel right now. Vickery on warm tires. So, a little bit of a lockup from Brinson. A little bit of a wiggle from Vickery. $11 to go. Make that 12 to go. Be 11 to go next time by. And it's taken us this long into the race to get another battle forming. Vickery to the outside just bombs it through the S's.
Nice.
That was sheer determination, but the thing is, there's a 4-lap difference anyways between the pit stops. Can Vickery hold on to the podium? So this is the battle right now. And they've got to deal with the lap traffic of George Hendricks in front of them. And we saw Hendricks have an oops earlier and hold up the leader. What's going to happen when these guys get to him with the battle for third coming?
True. I think it's all going to depend as to where they catch him.
Good point.
Some of the guys that are oval guys and they're the diehard oval guys, well, that'll get him out of the way.
That will definitely get him out of the way. And he's coming to a stop to make sure he doesn't impede these guys. He's using the escape road there to get back on the track. So that's going to be a non-factor now, as we are 11 to go. Fry, 15 seconds to the good over Siefker, who was your pole sitter, dropped to the tail end of the field.
But like I was saying, a lot of the oval guys and the guys that are diehard oval guys, you actually see it in a lot of the NASCAR races too. Some of the rookie guys, they don't know how to get out of the way as well as they do on the ovals on the road courses.
Right. And the way it was always explained to me, hold a line. Doesn't matter which side of the road you pick, whatever side of the road you pick, stay there. Don't effing move. Just stay there. So whatever side you pick, stay there for however long it takes for whoever's behind you to get by it.
Brinson's going to drive over Vickery here pretty soon. It's a really interesting race going on here because you've got Brinson coming into almost every corner better and Vickery driving out of the corners better.
And that's because Brinson's going into the corners better, but he's got to check up to not kill Vickery. So he's losing all that momentum, not running over the young gunner. And I would like to point out, this is Tyler Vickery's debut race with Top Fuel.
That's right. He's been a broadcaster until now, has he not?
He has. And I think I may have just
seeing him in the team speak that I never even realized that.
I may have possibly just lost him for the rest of the season. So anybody looking for a job on Wednesday nights?
Hold on. We just had a good impact.
A good impact?
Chris? Well, I guess no impact's a good impact, but a hefty impact.
Whom? Chris Walker?
Yeah, Chris Walker.
No, that wasn't Chris. That was behind him.
Tony Rice was involved.
That's... Okay, if Tony Rice is involved, who was it with? Oh! That was Hendricks.
I was going to say it's a Krakow car.
No, it wasn't. It was a quick car.
Oh, the Nestle quick car. Yeah, that
completely ripping the front wing off. Let's
know where he could go though.
Let's take a look at so you see Rice up there in the Valvoline car. Has the off coming up here. Loses it. And Hendricks, nowhere to go, just completely wads that front wing.
Yeah, it's broadside.
And he's fighting it right now, so he completely knocked the toe out of it. So, tough break there.
Got a nice run for 6th and 7th going right now too.
Nice run for 6th and 7th. That's Osmer. No.
And Paul.
Paul?
Crumray, is that how you pronounce it?
Crumray's in 10th, bud.
Oh, no, they were racing each other.
Yeah, he's in 10th a lap down. Ronnie Osmer, the last car on the lead lap. Vickery off. He was 6 seconds to the good. There goes Brinson. What happened to Vickery? Coming through the S's, just gets it wrong. That's what's commonly referred to as stepping on one's own junk.
Yep. For being his debut run, Vickery's done very well, though.
Oh, yeah, top 5 with this field of heavy hitters? Absolutely.
And I have to say, during this broadcast, I have proved my rustiness in commentating.
That's all right. At least you haven't done what other rusty commentators have done and started commentating on a replay.
Vickery's off again.
Safe to assume he's burned all of the goodie off of those tires 10 laps into it.
Well, there it looked like he just forgot to turn.
That's a good possibility, but he's reeling in Brinson again.
And he got loose there again.
Well, I'm thinking that goes back to what you were talking about at the beginning, where under acceleration, the back end just wants to come right around on you.
Yep. And I think he's pushing a little bit too hard trying to catch Brinson right now.
You're not wrong, because he's definitely not... Well, he is gaining on him in spots. But he better be careful, because Chris Walker is ready right to take that spot from him.
I was just getting ready to say that. He's driving away from Walker, though.
He's starting to... Well, no, not really. He is and he isn't. Walker lost some spots because a couple of lappers came out of the pits right by him. So discretion being the better part of valor, Walker kind of let him sneak in there. But this is going to be the race right here, the final podium spot, as we are 6 to go. It's just about academic. I mean, unless Wes Fry steps on his own junk and bins the car.
We have 6 to go, but I want to point out there's only a minute left in the race.
What? Your timer's off, bud. As I'm showing 6 minutes left.
I'm showing that we're a minute and 4 in right now. Or an hour and 4 in.
You forget the grid up time and the pace lap both took about 5 minutes.
Okay, true.
So Fry currently leading this thing. Nate Siefker went from starting dead last to 12 seconds back in second. Brinson fighting with Vickery for third, and Chris Walker within striking distance of them in fifth. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is Vickery running a Milka-Duno car?
Yes, he is. I said something about that earlier.
There are so many jokes I can make about that young gunner right now that as he, there he goes, stepping on his own junk again, coming through the switchback.
I think he probably just went on trading paint so much. I like this one. I don't think he took it as a Milka-Duno car.
I don't think he realized whose car it was.
I don't think anybody would choose a Milka-Duno car by choice.
Well, there's only one car that could have been worse than that. And it's She Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know who we're talking about, you're not a true race fan. And we're just going to leave it at that. So, battle for third, fourth, and fifth. Starting to get a little strung out now as 5 to go. Brinson, whatever he's got left in the tank, whatever he's got left in reserve, starting to use it. Though Vickery is starting to reel him back in. And don't count out Chris Walker, because Walker is right there within striking distance.
Yep.
So, as Vickery taking a shortcut, which becomes a long cut as he loses a spot to...
I'm sure he got slowed down for that.
Yeah, safe bet. Safe bet.
And that right there just changed everything, Mr. Trapasso.
Absolutely. So we went from a battle for third to Brinson's just got to hang on for 4 more laps. And one of the names I would like to point out, hell of a run out of Sam Cooper Bennett tonight. Looks like the vacation that he took to visit his mom, in jolly old England, definitely rejuvenated the driver of the 101. So good to see Sam having such a strong top 10 finish here tonight at his home track at Silverstone. And your mic broke up, John.
I said, by all means.
And that switchback leading back to the front straightaway has been giving Vickery, I'm sorry, that's the carousel, has been giving Vickery nothing but fits. He's cooked it. Those tires are whooped. But real strong run for the... we're going to change cameras because I think I'm seeing something on the side of Sam's car. And I'm not sure if I'm actually seeing it or if it's an optical delusion. Yes, I am seeing what I think I'm seeing on the side of Sam's car.
What is it?
Sam has the Bofa logo on the side pods, and I didn't realize it till just now.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that.
I saw the PH Aware on the lead-in to the Kardashians.
And he's also got the Pasky logo on the winglets.
I did see the Paskey's logo on the wings, as he just lets that battle for third just scream by him. But did not realize that the co-owner here of Bofa Broadcasting driving with the Bofa logo on the car. So I do apologize, Sam, for missing that one. Walker
around.
Almost collects Cooper Bennett. And Sam has done a remarkable job tonight to keep that car absolutely masterful job tonight.
And I want to point out that the job he's done has been 100% defensive.
Yes.
At no time did he put the car into a position.
Absolutely. So, just great drive, very strong finish for Sam. Everybody here at Bofa Broadcasting proud to call Sam our friend. So, as Walker into the pits, that's going to hand fourth back over to Vickery. White flag is out. Fry wins it. Siefker coming across for second. Brinson coming through the final corner. No. Coming through the carousel.
Vickery is out of fuel.
Really?
Yep.
That's not cool. When it all goes wrong, it all goes horribly wrong. So, Brinson able to hang on for third. Walker did a splash and go because it looks like he was probably going to run out of fuel. He's going to come home in fourth. As Osmer, last car on the lead lap, coming home fifth. Well, getting ready to come home in fifth. Let's put it that way. There's Osmer crossing for fifth. And Vickery's got a long way to go.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to make it.
You got to admire the determination to finish, though.
Is he doing what I think he's doing? He's using the starter to get that car around the track.
That's exactly what he's doing.
The only problem is these cars don't have an onboard starter. And he's parked right in the middle of the track, and here comes Ronnie Osmer. Osmer going to push him to the finish. That's teamwork, ladies and gentlemen. That's sportsmanship. Ronnie Osmer making sure Tyler Vickery finishes his first Top Fuel race.
User joined your channel.
What a finish.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Just the man we wanted to talk to, Mr. Scott Brinson, coming home third tonight. Hard fought podium for you, Scott. Now we were kind of wondering what took place on the pace lap. Nate Seifker dropping to the tail of the field. What was that all about?
That was a self-induced penalty by Nate from last week's race where there was an issue where Nate merged onto the track before he should have.
I remember that incident, yes.
Yeah, he said he hit a bump. I took him at his word. I wasn't going to issue him a penalty. He chose to take a penalty himself and start in the rear of the field.
So we're just watching Tyler Vickery finally get to the finish line, coming home in sixth.
That was a tough break for Tyler. When he pitted, I pretty much knew he was going to run out of fuel. But yeah, to go that far, I thought he was going to run out a lot sooner than he did, but he made it all the way to 1 to go.
Well, you guys had a hell of a battle going on there since the money stopped. So, talk us through how bad was the tire fall off tonight?
It wasn't so much the tires. I took pretty much as best care of the tires as I could. It was more the track. The track rubbered up quite a bit. I mean, it was getting dark out there in some of them corners, and it was making it real greasy and slick. And as the fuel burned off and the tires, were obviously melting away, it got bad. So, but it was more or less from the track than it really was the tire because, the percentages were about the same as they were in the practice during the week, and we weren't having those kinds of issues.
Well, fair enough. Scott, where are we next time?
Next week, we are at Homestead. It'll be Crumb's Customs race. We'll have a $20 race purse. And then the week after that, we will actually take the week off and then come back to Kentucky on April 11th.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That will be my anniversary. I have to win that one.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. Well, just while I got a second here, I just want to send some thanks out to all the guys that came out tonight. These road races, sometimes it's hard to get a good-sized field. I want to thank all 13 other guys that were here tonight besides myself. Came to support Top Fuel Racing for this road race. Also want to thank you guys, of course, Tony and John being up here in the booth, and Bofa Broadcasting for coming on and picking up what is now tonight, as you guys are officially race number 1, the every week broadcasting station. So awesome, man. I'm happy to be a part of this whole thing with you guys, calling races, having you guys broadcast us. So thanks to you guys.
We are happy to be here. We're happy to be able to say that we're bringing Top Fuel to the masses. And, you guys have a stand-up bunch of drivers here. Sportsmanship abound, and we saw it all through the field tonight. From Nate Seifker, self-inducing a penalty on himself for something he thought that he should have received from race management. And then Ronnie Osmer pushing Tyler Vickery to the finish line after Vickery ran out of gas to make sure that Vickery finished his first race with Top Fuel. So if you like what you've seen here tonight, folks, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to wait till after the live broadcast is over. Go ahead and drop your name in the replay comment section, and we'll get that passed along to league management, see if we can't get you added into a future race here with Top Fuel. But Scotty, congratulations on the podium. Looking forward to seeing you next week at Homestead, and I'm looking forward to working with you tomorrow night at Martinsville.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be there. And before I go, I just want to congratulate my teammate Wes Fry for finishing first place tonight. And I want to congratulate Nate for driving his ass off and coming through the field and finishing second place. That's pretty awesome, man, to start in the rear of the field and come up and show that much muscle. And I know he had one moment where he spun and still finished second. So good job to him. And lastly, I want to say hi to my mom. Mom, I love you. I want to say hi to my girlfriend, Brittany, and her 2 kids, Hayden and Faith. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night.
And if you don't mind, Tony, real quick before we go, I would like to thank both SodaFix and Prestige Vape for broadcasting the race for us.
User was moved to your channel.
All right.
User left your channel.
Real quick, John, we're not quite done yet. As we're joined now with Nate Siefker. Nate, kudos on the sportsmanship. We just got told what took place at the beginning of the race. We were wondering why you had dropped back, but Scotty explained that to us. Kudos on the sportsmanship, sir. Hell of a drive to get through the field as quickly as you did. Just ran out of time, it looks like.
Yeah, I think that was it. Wes was pretty good. I made one mistake. I spun once, and I just hadn't quite recovered from that. So Wes was very, pretty quick. I couldn't quite catch him. He was a little too fast for me to get to. And I just ran out of time. If we had maybe 15 more minutes, maybe it would be a different thing. Maybe one more pit stop. But, that's racing. And just ran out of time, I guess.
Well, you ran out of time, but just a masterful drive, to come through the field like you did. Talk us through your thoughts of Silverstone as a track.
Personally, I love this racetrack. It's one of my favorite tracks to drive, and this is one of my favorite cars to drive, so it's a pretty good combination. The setup was pretty good. I had no complaints about the setup, and the track was pretty rubbered in, so it kind of made it a little slick, but I thought it was pretty manageable. It's just having to manage yourself, making sure you take care of yourself, really, that's the main thing, and just don't overwork it. If you overheat the tires, you're basically done because you're just going to keep spinning. So trying to keep the temperatures of the tires in the range that they need to be at. And, that's really just all I did all race long was just manage and try to crank out quality lap times to catch Wes, and I just couldn't quite get there.
Well, you get another shot at him next week when we go back to the States and down to Homestead, Miami. What are your thoughts on the 2-miler there?
Well, I won that race last season, so hopefully I repeat that. But, right now it's just gaining points. That's the main thing, getting points and accumulating them so I'm in a position to be in the championship at the end of the season. That's the main thing. The goal for today was to get out of here with the least amount of penalty points, and I came out of here with 1 penalty point, so I'll take that. So if I just continue these good results, I think I'll be just fine come the end of the season, hopefully, and we'll see where we go from there.
Well, best of luck to you in the future. We will we'll let you get back to the post race, and best of luck to you next week at Homestead.
All right, thank you, man.
User was moved out of your channel.
And now,
User was
the
moved
man
to
of the
your channel.
hour, led from virtually wire to wire. There's a couple of shufflings that went on during the green flag stops, but just a completely dominating drive from Wes Fry tonight.
Thanks. How you guys doing?
Well, how are you feeling right now? That we were riding along with you on a helmet cam for a couple of laps, and just smooth as glass all stint long, it looked like.
Yeah, that's basically all I was trying to do. Nate, super fast here. He was the man to beat, but he had to take a penalty and start from the back. So I just figured my best shot was to just keep it straight and see what happens.
No real challenges tonight from the word go. For the first handful of laps, Tyler Vickery tried to keep you honest, but you just walked away from the young gunner in his first race. So, your thoughts on the entire Silverstone circuit with the heat index being what it was tonight.
I didn't really like the circuit tonight. I like Silverstone. I like the rhythm that you get in here, but I had no trust in the car. I felt like every corner it was just going to spin out for no reason. I was afraid to go in too low of a gear to get too much wheel spin, and there wasn't too many on-track challenges. But believe me, I knew Nate was coming. I knew he was fast, so. It was just a strategy battle at that point.
Fair enough. So the series moves to Homestead next week. Your thoughts on the high banks there?
Never been there.
Good luck.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to make it out next week and try it out.
Well, Wes, the two times that I really seen you perform have both been on road courses. I'm looking forward to possibly seeing you on an oval from here on out. So, congratulations on the win tonight. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Oh, well, I'd like to thank Scott, of course, for doing everything that he does, and I'd like to thank you guys for putting on a broadcast. I watched the broadcast from the last race I ran and really enjoyed you guys. So keep it up, and hope to be talking to you guys more often.
Well, congratulations again on the win, Wes. Best of luck to you should you make it next week. If not, we will see you. Why am I drawing a blank? 2 weeks.
Sounds good to me. Take care, guys.
User was moved out of your channel.
Well, John, that's another one in the books. I know you're looking forward to Homestead next week.
I am and I'm not. Homestead is one of my least tracks. I just don't do well there. I never have in any car, but I'm gonna go out there and give it my best.
Fair enough.
I've just never been able to find a line at Homestead, unfortunately.
It's not an easy track to get around, that's for sure. So that, I believe, is going to do it for us here tonight.
And with response to everybody else, just like them, I am happy to have you on board, Tony. Happy to have both on board. And looking forward to many more races with you guys.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I know the entire Bofa crew is happy to be here. So much so that my normal broadcast partners are both out on the track right now. So, yeah.
And if you ever need somebody in the booth with you for any race, feel free to hit me up, Tony.
Well, John, you're always welcome. If you're not comfortable on the track, you're welcome to be in the booth with me here for the Top Fuel races.
All right.
Would like to thank Scott and all the guys here at Top Fuel for letting us come in and bring the races to the masses. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We will see you next week with Top Fuel from Homestead. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night when we will bring you the Somo Racing Series, the Portside Land Rover Jaguar Cup Series live from Martinsville. For Mr. John Napier, for Mr. Scotty Brinson, this is Tony Trapasso saying we will see you tomorrow night.